Tonight, we'll break down the newest updates on the Kavanaugh case and what today's vote means.
And how the WSU campus strives to provide resources for our veterans.
And what you'll find at the Pullman Regional Fair this weekend. Murrow News 8 starts now.
From Studio B on the campus of Washington State University, this is Pullman's only nightly newscast. This is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Bree Childress.
And I'm Vanessa McMahon. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
We begin with an update on Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation to the Supreme Court. This morning, the Senate voted 51-49 in support of Kavanaugh's appointment to the bench. Bradley Warren joins us live to explain how today's vote will affect the process moving forward. Bradley?
Yeah, that's right, Bree. So today's vote was actually just a procedural vote on the floor. Those votes don't usually change, so we have some sort of idea as to what the Senate is going to be doing tomorrow. As for our senators right here from Washington, we know exactly what they're planning on doing.
Senators from Washington, Cantwell, and Senator Murray voted no in today's procedural vote. Senator Murray took to Twitter in a thread of tweets to explain not only her position but her vote. Senator Murray outlined in her multi-tweet thread that she ran for Senate after what happened in 1991 to Anita Hill. That's often referred to the year of the woman. In her final tweet, she wrote, "I'm headed to the floor to vote no." Senator Cantwell was not as vocal on Twitter as Senator Murray, but still voted no. But the senators to watch that could kill or produce the successful nomination is Senator Collins and Senator Manchin.
Typically a no on that will probably mean a no on the final vote. I would be surprised to see a 50-50 vote where Joe Manchin is a yes and Susan Collins is a no. But I think if she's a no, Joe Manchin will also be a no, and the confirmation is voted down.
Senator Collins announced that she will be announcing her final decision today at 3. Her vote today in the procedural vote was a yes.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be an interesting 30 hours leading up to the vote. We'll keep you updated on Murrow News 8's Facebook page. Reporting live from the Foley Institute, I'm Bradley Warren, Murrow News 8.
Thank you, Bradley. Earlier this week, we told you about Ronald J. Schurer, a WSU alum, who received the Medal of Honor. Abby Tudor visited the Veterans Corner to find out what WSU offers for students who serve their country.
President Trump presented the Medal of Honor to former Army Sergeant Ronald J. Schurer II, a WSU alumnus, on Monday for his efforts in defying enemy fire to treat a wounded soldier in Afghanistan of 2008.
Because it's a really awesome deal that what he did out there, and there are a lot of people on campus that would love to, see him and say thanks and celebrate his accomplishment.
The Veterans Corner and the ASWSU Student Veterans Committee helps veterans understand the benefits they earned through their service, such as the GI Bill, but here on campus it provides smaller services too, like free coffee and free printing.
A lot of veterans actually don't come in here or even know about the place, so when I learned about the printer, the printing options, the computers and stuff like that was a huge bonus to me.
The Veterans Day ceremony will be happening on November 9th right here on Terra Mall and then going down to Avery Hall.
The Veterans Corner in the Holland Library houses a home for veterans to come together and do homework or simply just hang out.
I was kind of surprised at how much of an isolating experience it was to be a military member transitioning over into college. So having a community and a network already in place at the Student Veterans Center has been a huge asset.
If you are a veteran on campus, you can visit the Veterans Corner in Holland 120B for resources and to meet new people. Abby Tudor, Murrow.
With midterm elections coming up, WSU has asked Kathy McMorris Rogers to disaffiliate the university with her campaign. Rogers' campaign handed out flyers at last Saturday's football game with the phrase, "Go Cougs" on them. Phil Weiler, Vice President of Marketing and Communication for WSU, says WSU trademarked this phrase, and they have asked all candidates to remove WSU-affiliated media linked with political campaigns. This included an ad from Rogers' opponent Lisa Brown, which showed a man wearing a hat with the WSU logo on it. Rogers and Brown face off in a race for Washington's 5th Congressional District seat in Congress. President Kirk Scholz provided an update on the current fiscal state of WSU last night at WSU's Faculty Senate meeting. According to Scholz, the university made a $22 million dent in the university's $30 million deficit last year alone. The Fiscal Health Committee will begin working on a proposition that they will publish and open for discussion and concerns. Another point addressed in this meeting, WSU's plan to increase the student population across all campuses to 40,000 as a whole by the year 2028. When we come back, find out all the fun things you can do with your family this weekend at Pullman Regional Fair. And also how a new app could help you beat the crowds at all of the gyms on campus when we come back.
That's not a flower. And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
I wouldn't use this one.
He helps me with my decision making.
Never.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised.
Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Pullman Regional Hospital will host a free health and wellness fair tomorrow. Parents can receive free services for their children, including flu shots, car seat checks, hearing screenings, and therapy sessions. Adults can receive a free blood pressure check, Medicaid eligibility screening, and other community services. The fair will run from 9 a.m. until noon tomorrow at Pullman Regional Hospital.
And yesterday, I met up with a WSU grad student in computer science that conducted research that might make going out to work out at the rec a little bit easier for students. Many students at WSU use the Student Recreation Center or Chinook to exercise, but these facilities quickly become crowded at times. A PhD student decided to figure out a solution to this using computer science.
It came from my own experience. So I used the rec a lot when I first came here. But often, if I go, say, in the afternoon around 5 or 6 o'clock, it's always very, very packed. And I get annoyed by that. So I was wondering if there's a way that I could use my research to try to solve this problem.
She started using data science and machine learning techniques to try to figure out an algorithm that would serve as a system to predict the peak and slow times at the gym.
It's really annoying when I only have 45 minutes to come to the gym, but everything is super packed when I get here. So it'd be really nice to know the right times to gauge when a lot of people are here.
Du collected the data from when students swipe into the facility with their Cougar cards. She harnessed this data with machine learning techniques and found patterns in the rec center usage. The research could help relieve overcrowding in the rec and result in a better experience for students.
The data also helps UREC management and staff to know how many employees to have on duty at a given time, and also things like restocking towels and how often to sanitize equipment.
Du is working on turning her data into an app that can be accessed by all students on their phones.
You input inside that model, and that model would tell you a number that says, oh, this is likely to be the number of people that will be at the rec for the time period that you queried.
She plans to have the app in pilot stages by spring semester.
Remember playing cops and robbers as a kid? Well, now you can turn back the clock a little while supporting a good cause. The Cops and Robbers Fun Run returns to Moscow tomorrow for the 3rd annual race. Dressed in their best cop or robber costume, runners will join Moscow police officers in either a 5K or 10K run along the Chipman Trail, ending at Gormley Park with food and drinks. Registration costs $25 for Moscow residents and $27 for non-residents. Proceeds go toward the Moscow chapter of the Fraternal Order of the Police. Find out how a local drive will warm up our kiddos.
Well, that's actually perfect timing, Brie, because it's starting to get cold outside, so that works out well. We'll give you a weather update when we get back after the break.
When you're out there, there's no telling what you'll find.
I see it! I see it! Oh, look at you.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
The
great outside. My new mom and I have a lot in common. So shiny. We both love the outdoors. That's not a flower. And she knows a lot about wildlife. A labradoodle.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play or even what you wear. You just need to be there. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
The arrival of the fall season means colder weather outside, and colder weather means breaking out your winter clothes. The Pullman Child Welfare Association wants to do their part to help children who need them.
The annual Coats for Kids drive will begin officially this week.
Bring any coats to any of the 6 drop-off locations.
Dismore's, Washington Trust Bank, Columbia Bank, Walmart, Daily Grind Coffee House, and 4 Star Supply. The coat drive will run through December 15th. Walking to the newsroom, it felt a little brisk outside today. The clouds look like we might have some rain coming in store for us.
Let's head over to the Weather Center and find out when it might show up. Abby?
Thanks, Bree. All right, so today it's looking like it's 50 degrees outside, but we do have an average of 42 degrees, so that's almost as cold as your fridge, so you could put some food outside if you really wanted to. If your fridge was full, make sure you keep it cold out there. And for the whole state, we're looking at it on the east side. It is 58 degrees and 56 degrees in Pullman, and it's partly cloudy, so it's staying the same there. And then tomorrow it is 45 degrees in the morning, and it's going to rain tomorrow morning, so if you are doing anything, like there's a mutt strut dog thing in Rainey Park, if you're bringing your dog, bring your dog a raincoat. And then in the afternoon, the rain will clear up though. And then throughout the entire week, we're looking at partly sunny and partly cloudy, and it's going to stay at the 50s throughout the whole week, but just make sure you enjoy the indoors.
Coming up, we take a look into the WSU's Cougar Corner.
And we'll let you know what you can expect from WSU sports teams across campus.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Don't forget to stick around for WSU Cougar Corner. Alex, what do we have today?
Well, we have a lot to cover, from WSU soccer to Cougs currently in the pros making noise.
Awesome. Thank you for watching. Join us every weeknight at 7 and 10 for Pullman's only nightly newscast.
Have a great night, and don't forget to follow us, Murrow News 8, on Twitter and Facebook.
Good night, Pullman.
Go Cougs.
I'm super excited.
Welcome to Murrow News 8. The Cougar women's soccer team sustained their first loss yesterday on the road to number 20 ranked Colorado following some loose defense. Only 12 minutes into the match, the Cougars found themselves down 2-0. The Cougs put the Buffaloes under heavy pressure, firing off 25 shots, 10 of those shots on goal. Forward Morgan Weaver put the Cougs on the board within 30 minute with her 7th goal of the season. In the 82nd minute, Colorado pulled away with their 3rd and final goal of the game. WSU will take on the Utah this Sunday to conclude their road trip.
The Cougar football team stands at 4-1 and will travel to Corvallis to take on the Beavers of Oregon State. Dax McCoy has a preview of the matchup. Dax, what do you have for us?
With the Cougs standing at 1-1 in conference play, they will look to start a new win streak with a win against Oregon State. The Cougs' air raid offense put up 445 yards of offense through the air against Utah last week, but they might lean on the ground game much more this week. The Beavers give up the third most rushing yards per game in the FBS at a stupefying 303 yards allowed per game. This means James Williams and Max Borghi could play a really pivotal role this week, more so than the playmaking abilities of wide receivers Aesop Winston and Tay Martin, if Leach goes away from his pass-heavy offense. As for the Beavs, starting quarterback Jake Lutton remains out with an ankle injury, which means Connor Blunt should start, but the focal point of the Beavers' offense goes through running back Jermar Jefferson. The true freshman racked up 254 yards and 2 touchdowns against Arizona State en route to holding the second most rushing yards in the FBS. You could say those extremes in producing and allowing so much rushing offset. Will Hunter Dale and the Coug defense handle this challenge? We'll find out tomorrow. Mackenzie and Alex, back to you both.
Yesterday marked the 15-year anniversary of Old Crimson. WSU alumni Tom Pound began flying Old Crimson flag back in 2003 during an ESPN College Game Day broadcast from Austin, Texas. Others became inspired by Pound and dedicated themselves to making sure Old Crimson waved at every college game day. Game day is still yet to come to Pullman, but the flag remains, waving in celebration of the Cougs every Saturday.
Has instituted a new policy for games at Martin Stadium. Ryan Peerboom explains why you'll have fewer secrets at the Cougar football games.
Brings a sense of excitement to Martin Stadium, but this season it also brings a change in stadium rules. Washington State University has instituted a new clear bag policy throughout Martin Stadium. The university put the policy in place to enhance safety and help fans gain access to the stadium quicker.
For me, I like it personally. I prioritize safety more than convenience, and so while it might be inconvenient, you have to get these new bags. I think that it's good to take safety precautions and always ensuring kind of the best fan experience.
The bags must be made of clear plastic, vinyl, or PVC. They cannot exceed dimensions of 14 by 8 by 14 inches. Fans can purchase these bags at the bookie or various retail stores. Small purses and clutches will still be allowed for privacy and personal items.
I do feel good that the school's taking safety precautions. It seems like lots of times there's incidents at schools where students aren't safe and where other people get injured. And I think it's good that schools are minimizing the risk as much as they can.
Every stadium in the Pac-12 conference now has a clear bag policy in effect. The University of Oregon will enforce the policy at Autzen Stadium for the first time this season. The University of Oregon also added a second controversial policy, barring fans from re-entering the stadium during games.
I don't think fans would like that very much here at all. I think that might be pushing it a little bit too far.
Anyone looking for more information on the clear bag policy can find it at wsucougars.com. Ryan Peer, Murrow News 8.
When we come back, the WSU women's basketball TV and Pac-12 schedules go live.
And Michaela Bailarova opens with a win at ITF Charleston.
Don't go anywhere.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning. 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash, 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
The Washington State University men's and women's basketball teams took part in the annual Zoo Mania, the Cougar basketball preseason rally presented by Zoo Crew last night at Bowler Gym. The event included team introductions and scrimmages by both teams. The Crimson Girls, WSU Cheer, and a DJ even made a presence as well. WSU women will host Warner Pacific in an exhibition game Monday, October 29th at 7 p.m. at Beasley Coliseum. The Cougar men will host Walla Walla in exhibition action November 4th at 2 p.m. at Beasley Coliseum. The Pac-12 released the schedule for the WSU women's basketball team on Thursday. The Cougs play 10 teams that participated in the 2018 NCAA tournament. The Cougs open with an exhibition game on October 29th against Warner Pacific before officially opening the season on November 6th at home against Utah State. Pac-12 play opens up on December 29th in Seattle against rival UW. You can find the entire schedule on the WSU Athletics website.
Michaela Byerlova got off to a good start at the International Tennis Federation's Charleston event on Wednesday. She defeated Italy's Verena Millis 7-6 and 6-2. Byerlova fell in the second round of the tournament to top seed Sherazade of France. After holding the early lead, she fell to Sherazade 6-3 and 6-2. This ends her two-week run participating in the ITF events, where she finished second in the ITF Hilton Head last week. Tomorrow, the WSU women's rowing team will travel across the border to Burnaby, British Columbia to participate in the Burnaby Lake Small Boat Invitational. 7 pairs and 4 singles from WSU will compete in the 4-kilometer race. The Cougs will face off against the University of British Columbia and the University of Fraser Valley. Last year's WSU's Emily Thompson and Ivy Elling Quatance took 4th place in the 4-kilometer race, but finished in 1st place in the 250-meter sprint final. Up next, we have Eli Clayton with an update on the WSU cross-country team and what they hope to accomplish this season.
Washington State University's men's cross-country team started the season ranked 13th in the National Coaches Poll. This is their second season ranked inside the top 20. Senior Nathan Wadwani says that momentum is helping this team.
We haven't really set any limitations on what we want to do. I think being on the podium is something that we've kind of always dreamt of in the past, and I think this is a year that it's actually possible. Being in the top 10 is kind of our bottom limit for what we want to do, and then anything above that is definitely attainable.
Cross-country gets overshadowed sometimes by the other fall sports, but senior Chandler Teagan says there are ways that students can support their team.
Well, I think, just paying attention to the media and knowing what we're doing and where we're going and, where we are in the season is important.
This track is one of the places that the WSU men's cross-country team comes to train. Running one lap for me is hard enough, but they do it for hours.
Yeah, so I'm one of the more high mileage guys on the team, so I'll get up to over 100 miles in a week, and that's usually in about 6 days, so a lot of days at 20 miles a day. I love just the kind of the grind that it takes, that when you show up on the day of the race, from a viewer standpoint, you don't really realize all of the time and continuous effort.
Elijah Clayton, Murrow News 8.
When we return, a look at Cougs in the pros.
Stay tuned.
Listen now, can you hear the bluebird? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun?
Well, with the baseball regular season ending and football season well in motion, let's take a look at some Cougars in the pros. Starting with baseball, pitcher Adam Conley finished his 4th year in the Bigs with a 3-4 record, also recording his first 3 saves of his career. Ian Hamilton, in his first 10 games with the White Sox, went 1-2, racking up 8 strikeouts in his first taste of MLB baseball. Moving to the NFL now, Cardinals linebacker Deone Bucannon played against the Seattle Seahawks last Sunday, getting 6 tackles and forcing a fumble en route to a loss to Seattle.
We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Yeah.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come. Tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
One of the most iconic images of Kobe Bryant's career, a shot of the Los Angeles Lakers stars standing unflinchingly as Matt Barnes faked throwing a ball at his face, may not hold true after a photo posted Tuesday on social media. In the photo, an overhead angle of the play shows Kobe standing to the side, not directly in front of Barnes when the ball fake happened. The original court-level image showed Bryant's fearless mentality, and some of Bryant's defenders went back to the original highlight of the play and said the photo didn't change anything. Thank you for watching.
See you next week. Good night, Pullman.